What is up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the Biscayne Breakdown. I'm your co-host, George, Heat Life on Twitter, joined today by Deem Honcho. This is going to be an incredible episode. We've got so much to talk about for the first time in a while. We've actually got real content, real stuff. So, without any further ado, let's get to the breakdown. Why is Jimmy doing this? Why is Jimmy looking like this? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, Deem. Because of this. This is disgusting.
That's nasty.
This is foul work. How do you have the best performance in the playoffs out of any player, the best, to then getting ranked behind Trae Young, of all people? Trae Young, a player who struggled so bad that it was almost a wrap for him. That was one of the most incriminating performances I've ever seen from a player in Trae Young. That was fraudulent. And now ESPN have the nerve to rank Jimmy Butler behind him? I don't know what to say.
Let's the continuous disrespect that Miami Heat organization is on display once again. I mean, Jimmy Butler, in my opinion, Jimmy Butler had the best playoff performance outside of Steph Curry. I think Steph was one, Jimmy was right behind him. You can argue that Jimmy had the best.
But the argument's there. The argument's there. You can make it.
And let's also say this. His career in Miami has been look at the bubble playoff performance and look at besides deception with the Milwaukee playoff performance, because it was just horrible all around. But 2 out of his 3 playoff performance they've been the top in those seasons. And then to look at this list, and if you go and see everyone who's in front of him, 2 of those guys that's in front of Jimmy eliminated in the playoffs.
And just to help you out, these are the players that were ranked 11 to 15.
Look at this.
These were the players from 11 to 15 by ESPN. He played terribly. He played terribly. He didn't play. He also played trash. He barely played. He had problems.
Let me say this. Let me give you this right here, George. 2 of these guys ranked in front of Jimmy didn't make the playoffs. 2 of the other guys in front of Jimmy lost to Jimmy in the playoff. One other guy, and Kawhi Leonard, who's a great player. Out of everybody on this list, he may have be the only one.
He's also disrespected. Put him in the top 10.
Even though he didn't play last season. But, besides Kawhi Leonard, everybody in front of this list, Jimmy Butler is better than.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, he eliminated James Harden. He eliminated Trae Young. Dame didn't make the playoffs. PG didn't make the playoffs. Cat was horrible. He wasn't good. He just wasn't good in the playoffs. And is Trae Young, we obviously seen what Gabe Vincent did to him in the playoffs. He had him in Broward County Correctional Facility. It's continued disrespect.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
The Miami organization.
But we're used to it. We're used to it at this point. Leave him alone. ESPN, leave Jimmy alone. Stop doing this to him.
ESPN, they played in Jimmy Butler face with this rankings.
Horrible.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And we're going to move on. Something else entirely. A new player. A relatively new player. Just started last year. Kyle Lowry is entering age 36 season with an average of fewer than 60 appearances per year for the last 4. This is a problem, in my opinion. This is a problem. We're about to pay him $38 million for the second last year of his contract. He's getting older. He had those problems with his hamstrings all year. There's big question marks about what he can actually offer this team. And we're paying him the premium as a starter at 36. I'm gonna pass it to you. You're gonna tell me. Talk me down. I'm pissed off. I'm upset.
I'm not as pissed as you, but I'm the thing is with Kyle Lowry the thing is with him is with Heat fans is he have not performed well last season in the playoffs. And not just last season. If you look at Kyle Lowry's whole career, he came up short in the playoffs, exception to the Kawhi Leonard championship run that helped him deliver that championship. He's up there in age. Pat called him out about, his weight. His weight issue was a problem. The thing is with this thing is, I'm not too upset is because we have Gabe. The 20-something games that Kyle is going to miss, Gabe can go in there, plug in, and play. Gabe is not a star. He's not a starter. He's a backup. He played great in the playoffs last year. Gabe is not an 82-game starter. He's a guy that can go in there for 20-something games, 15-something games, and give you just, a plug-in player until Kyle returns.
This is how it makes me feel. Look at him. That's how I feel.
I feel you.
That's how I feel.
I feel you.
He was amazing in the regular season. When Jimmy and when Bam was out, he was our primary leader. Ball handler, everything. But the biggest story with our team is in the postseason is our scoring. And he's facilitating is the key to the scoring, to unlocking it.
But he was hurt.
Tyler fell off. He was hurt too, apparently. Lowry fell off from the regular season form that he was having. And was injured as well. Bam doesn't perform up to the plate when it comes to playoffs more recently. We need these things. These are such important factors to our offense. And when we're paying $38 million to a guy that might not be healthy, look, the appearances could I could care less about. That's the regular season stuff. It's the playoffs. We want the ring. We want that chip.
I think this is the thing where you and even me and other Heat fans are getting at is we're playing top dollar for what we believe is a mediocre player. That's what most Heat fans believe is Kyle Lowry is a mediocre. He's a middle of the road player. He's a great leader, but in the playoffs he came up short. And then just like that one championship that he do have, it just overlap. Like everyone forget about the bad playoff performances he had.
Well, it was a Sports Illustrated or ESPN, I forgot which one. Maybe it was NBA Central, for all I know. Released the top 18 ranking lists for all point guards in the NBA. Top 18. Kyle Lowry landed on that list?
Where at?
He didn't. He didn't even make the top 18. There are 18 point guards better than him.
Like I said, he's the middle of the pack point guard, and we're paying him top dollar. And
he's below middle. Middle is 15. He's below middle.
And that's why me and you and other Heat fans around the world look at him as like, we're paying you top dollar, and you're a mediocre point guard. Your whole career has been arguably, fans that say, mediocre.
Now, I know a lot of people say that we just shit on, like people, we shit on the Heat. I've been accused of it. Apparently, I'm not even a fan anymore. This, and that. But the point of the fact of the matter is, I'm just hypercritical. I'm being critical of a team that needs to be criticized. At the point, we made no moves. This and that. It makes me upset. I want them to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Lowry. Prove me wrong.
Let me say this. Heat fans are allowed to be critical of their players. When on the court, whatever goes on off the court, that's the player's business. I'm not going to get personal, but on the court and between those lines, we have not just Heat fans, period, sports fans, period, have the right to be upset when players, executives, coaches are not performing well.
Yep, absolutely.
We're fans. We have a love, a passion for the team, a certain player, or whatever. So, I mean, don't get too personal. Leave the athletes' personal business, and they whatever they doing. But in between them lines is whatever it is. But you, me, whoever else have the right to feel a type of way about if our team's unperforming or our players unperforming. We have the right to express our feelings.
Now, I'm happy you mentioned this. I'm happy you mentioned underperforming players and being critical of players because he's next. He's next.
The most hated man in Miami.
$19 million. What could you do with $19 million, Deem?
I'll talk to I try to give me a steak.
A steak dinner? Yeah. Steak.
Yeah,
For $19 million?
Yeah. $19 million.
I'd buy a share. I'd buy some shares in the Heat. I'd do something like that with $19 million. I'd move. I'd move to Miami.
You'll move to the States?
I'll move there for $19 million. He's getting paid $19 million to do the same job I'm doing right now. We're podcasting.
Oh yeah, podcasting.
We're doing it. We are betting. This is not a shout out to, something to throw at Heat versus the World. We love you, Heat versus the World. You're very nice. We want $19 million. We're not saying that, all right? We're not saying it. If you want to give us $19 million, give us $19 million. That's fine. $19 million to be the most inconsistent player. Now, I know what you're thinking. You see it. The big sun in the top. We have to talk about the trade package. And yes, you're right. Look, wait. That's the number one. It's our round one pick from this year. I know. We have to talk for and against this trade. It's been circling through Heat Twitter today. Jay Crowder wants out. Everyone knows he's not going to be there at Phoenix. Yeah, he needs a job. He needs a job.
He already tweeted it and went back and deleted the tweet, but
yeah. But deleted the tweet. He tweeted it. It doesn't matter. It's over now. But are you willing to give up a first-round pick to get off that Duncan contract?
Absolutely not. Not for Jay Crowder, at least.
Yes, I agree.
Not for Jay Crowder, at least.
I agree. I'd rather give them your 7.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and look, Jay Crowder. I mean, if you look and you see you have a championship contender team, what Miami has. You bring in Jay Crowder, but do you want to give away? Even though Duncan have not performed well, he was supposed to not play him in the playoffs last year. But do you really want to give away Duncan Robinson for Jay Crowder and a first-round pick for next year?
The first part of that, yes. Duncan Robinson for a bag of chips and good internet service. I don't care. Give me that. But the first-round picks where I draw the line. I don't want to give up picks because that's the flexibility to make big trades, big moves down the line.
Yeah, and you don't risk that for Jay Crowder.
You don't risk the draft capital, especially the fact that we traded away a player. We traded away Okpala last year to free up one of those picks as well. You don't just do that if you want to get rid of that pick for Jay Crowder. That's not the end goal.
No. You don't do that. And then if you look at it, like I had a conversation with someone, and I said, we have a Jay Crowder at home, and that's Caleb Martin.
Different players.
They're the same height.
Okay.
They both versatile defensively. They both, can shoot the 3 ball. Caleb may be more athletic. Jay Crowder may be more, he's more, got more weight on him.
Yeah.
He's maybe even the better defender. And you may even trust Jay Crowder more in clutch moments, in crunch time. You may trust Jay Crowder more.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have a Jay Crowder home, and you don't have to give up a first-round pick for him. And Caleb is much younger than Jay Crowder. So, and the time that Jay Crowder was here, he did tremendously, but it was some times where he shot the ball horrible. He went 0 for 7. It was 2 games straight. I remember it was a time in the playoffs where he couldn't make a 3-point jump shot in the Heat uniform.
You remember the 11-game stretch of when this man couldn't do anything?
I remember.
And he was crying on the bench and having a sook and throwing stuff. He was upset.
I remember.
This is what I'm about to do now. Ready? This is what I'm about to do now. If for some reason, this is the reason why I'm not pulling the trigger on this trade. This one here. If for some reason we don't perform this year, we need that pick.
Absolutely. That's
we
why
need
you
that
can't trade
pick.
it.
Not just for use, not just for anything like that, not just to use it. If we end this season, and this is my opinion, if we end this season and these teams did get better, the Cavs, the Celtics, even though with the Celtics, what's happening with them now is insane. We're not going to get into that, but the Celtics did get better overall, I think, after what's happened the last few weeks. The Bucks got Chris back.
He's going to be healthy.
The Cavs got Donovan Mitchell and all these, they're killing it. Philly got better, as much as I don't like to admit it. Philly got better, and Toronto's getting better internally. They're doing their thing. Brooklyn retained all their players, all these players. Just say for us, if making no move doesn't do us justice, and we can't claw out a solid performance, we need to look to trading that man.
That was crazy.
We have to look at trading that man because we can't do it again.
Never happen.
We can't. 37-year-old Kyle Lowry. 35-year-old Jimmy Butler paying $52 million a year. There's a team waiting for him. I'm not going to say the team because I don't want to start.
That was crazy.
We might have to look to trade him eventually.
Honestly.
Because look what Donovan Mitchell did. Look what the Utah Jazz did. They didn't want to lose. They didn't want to lose the players, but they got back the whole. If Rudy Gobert is getting you 4 first-round picks, Deem, we're getting an entire franchise for Jimmy Butler.
Not at 35, you won't.
35, you will.
You believe so?
If he churns out another performance like he does, like he will, someone will be there to pay the money. I'm
gonna say this: if the Miami Heat doesn't perform well leading up to the trade deadline, expect Pat and Andy to maneuver a lot of these players.
Yeah, and if it's either going to be one of two things. If
Duncan and Kyle and Tyler will be on the trade block if the team's not performing well. They're going to regret not pushing more for the Donovan Mitchell trade because it was reports that I don't know how true they are. I don't have no insiders, but it was reports that Miami didn't really make an offer on the Donovan Mitchell trade.
I feel like we did it earlier on, but we didn't pursue it further. Once they said no, it was like
that was it.
Yeah,
that was it. It was no counter offer from either team.
There was no counter offer.
But if this team not performing well in the early stages of the season, changes are going to come. A lot of changes are going to come.
There's going to be change. There's going to have to be change because there's two possible outcomes. We perform really well with this roster and they keep it together and they keep it going. Or what they're going to do is if we're not performing and we're 10th, 11th, 9th in the league, just say as an example, not that I'm saying it's going to happen. It might not happen. Probably won't happen. Probably hovering around the 5, 6, 7. That's medium. But at our best, we might be 4th, 3rd, 2nd, maybe 1st. Who knows? We could be ending anywhere up in that entire
fans
head conference.
Pump the brakes. You're getting an all-star in return, and his name is Victor Oladipo. If Victor Oladipo come back healthy, let's say he come back 70%, 85% healthy. That is still all-star material. He's going to contribute very well to this team. I guarantee it. Mark my words. Mark my words.
Do you like hurting my feelings, Deem? You've hurt my feelings.
He's going to contribute. He's going to be a big contributor to this team in a great way.
I'm sick of waiting.
Bro, listen. That contract is going to be the best contract in the NBA. It's going to be the biggest bargain in the whole entire NBA.
I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of waiting on players we already have to perform. I'm sick of it. When's Tyler going to take that leap in the postseason? When's Bam going to play to his potential? When's Oladipo going to do this? When's Kyle going to do that? When's Jimmy going to cut his dreads off? I'm sick of change. Oh, I want change now.
Some of these players are like, these are who they are. Like Max Strus, this is who Max Strus is. He's not going to get any better than this.
He should be starting.
Maybe his numbers may improve, percentage-wise may improve, but that's who he is. Tyler Hero, this is who he is.
Well, you can't say that. He's 22. He's 22. He's not even in his prime yet.
He has time. He has a lot of time to get better, but maybe he's showing us this who he is.
Mm-hmm.
We know when Victor Oladipo is healthy, we know who he is. Is he a better player than Tyler Hero? 100%. Absolutely. He's a better player than Tyler Hero. It is what it is. We still got a all-star back there. If he can be healthy, he's going to perform the same way he did. He may be even better. Look what he did in Indiana. Now he has better players around him. He has a Bam Adebayo, a Jimmy Butler, a Kyle Lowry. Like, Vic is going to perform well.
I hope so.
I can't wait. Listen, training camp starts Tuesday in the Bahamas. I wish I was there. I'd be sitting right there courtside with Bahama Mamas. Drinking Bahama Mamas, me and Jimmy.
We're gonna end the show on something. A quick shout out, my condolences to your trade dream last week. He's gone. He went to Utah. It's over. He's where he's supposed to be. He's in Utah. He doesn't like
Utah. He's not a Utah guy.
I don't care.
He's definitely a Miami guy.
I don't care. He's there now. And that's where he's going to stay.
A lot of Heat fans are going to a lot of people is going to hate me for this, but I would have take Kelly Olynyk over Jay Crowder.
Okay. This is where you want to be. This is the Bahamas. So welcome to the Bahamas, Deem. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Deem. Thank you so much, Deem, for everything today. It's been a great episode. Thank you for tuning in. Follow us on our socials. Heat Lifer on Twitter. That's who I am. Deem Honcho here. He versus the world. Thank you again for supporting the show. Everything like that. Thank you again. And yeah, catch you guys next week.